Welcome back to the shack. While we're busy behind the scenes, looking at old maps, digging through old stories, strange histories, and the things that make you stop and wonder, hang on, what's exactly happened there? We thought we'd leave the lantern swinging and bring you some special bonus episodes. Because here at the shack, we know that sometimes the most fascinating stories don't come from dusty old books. They come from real people. And today's true tale has travelled all the way from Ontario in Canada, where Gary D has kindly sent us his own strange story to share with you. So, make yourselves comfortable, pull up that chair, grab your favourite brew and settle in. And as always, I'll swing that light, because this is a true tale from the shack.
Oh, hell no. Yeah, this strange kind of story occurred back in the late 80s. When I was a salesman, I did quite a bit of traveling, mostly driving around visiting customers all across Ontario, Canada. Also had some suppliers down in the U.S., so I visited some people down there as well. I remember traveling through Virginia, West Virginia area, and having a really kind of freaky experience one time. Basically, I'd had a full day of seeing some customers and potential customers along the way, do some presentations. There is a major highway that winds through, but I was kind of off into more of a rural area, and there were some smaller locations, little retail outlets and dealers, distributors for the product that was selling at the time. But the freaky thing that happened was that it was a long day, it was getting dark, and I was heading back through Virginia, just looking for a motel anywhere, Super 8 or anything. So heading back through some rural roads, and a couple of things. One, I really had to pee really bad. I'd had a couple of coffees to stay awake and a bottle of water. Desperately had to find a restroom. And the other thing is I was running on fumes. The vehicle was almost dry. Gas tank was huffing and puffing, just looking for a gas station. And I'm going down this dark, barely lit road. There was the odd light here and there from the odd kind of a hovel of a shack house here and there. But eventually, luckily, I saw a little gas station sign. So I pulled in, went up to the pump. The first pump, I noticed that the nozzles that you put into your gas tank, the nozzles were hanging there all around it, but they had been cut off right at the hose, the rubber hose attachment. And I only noticed there was one pump that looked like it was working fine, and I could seemed to be operational. So I put the nozzle into my vehicle to fill it up. Nothing was happening. So I decided to walk up to the little, it was kind of just a very small shack of a building, and I could see kind of a front area with a cash register. So I walked in the front door. There was a little metal bell at the door, the ones when you open the door, it just rings, ding, and looked around to see if anybody saw me. There was nobody at the front desk. There didn't seem to be anybody in the store of this gas station at all. And it was kind of a creepy looking store because it was really dimly lit, and the lights were kind of flickering. And it was a dirty, grimy old place. It'd been there for decades and probably never cleaned. So I'm at the front and I'm kind of calling, going, hello, anybody here? I need gas, anybody here? And then I hear something in the back, and I hear this weird kind of dragging sound. And what do I see? I see this very old woman. She must have been 80, 85 or so, because her face was nothing but wrinkles. And she probably stood no more than 3.5 feet tall, and she had one of those walker things in front of her. So she'd go clunk, shuffle, 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 clunk, shuffle, shuffle. And it took her literally 5 or 6 minutes to get up to the front counter. So she gets to the front counter, never looks at me, doesn't say a word, gets up there, and then I notice that there's a little, I don't know if it's a box or something, that she steps up on top, and then she jumps on top of the stool, which is kind of like a bar stool. She jumps up on top to make herself higher, and then she's facing me, and she's got these thick-rimmed pop bottle glasses, really high magnification lenses, kind of cat eye, thick glasses. So she pushes them up her nose, and she's got this big head of hair, which I'm surprised at a woman her age. Maybe it was a wig. But she just looks at me, and I just see these giant eyeballs through the magnification of her lenses. And she just looks me over, doesn't say a word. And I say to her, "Excuse me, ma'am, I need to get some gas. I just noticed there's only, one pump working there. Can I get some gas, please? I've got no gas left at all in my car." So she looks at me again, doesn't say anything. And finally, she just kind of looks at me and says,
"You need some gas, do you there, boy? How much money you got in your pocket? We only take cash. None of them credit cards and plastic shit. How much money you got?"
So I thought that was kind of strange, kind of a strange question. I just said, I'll take $20 worth of gas. I think I can get at least that into the tank. So make it $20.
Well, I don't know. I could probably give you 10.
Okay, make it 10 then. I'll give you $10 and we'll do that. But before I get the gas, I really have to go to the restroom. You've got a restroom in here, right?
Of course we do. Come on, are you crazy? Just go down the hallway, follow the sign.
So okay, well, thank you very much. And then she kind of motioned with her hand with these long, dirty fingernails. She motioned towards a key that was laying on that front counter. And it was a key with a chain on it. And it was attached to this large, had to be at least a foot long. It looked like the jawbone of some weird animal with teeth hanging off it, all yellowed. I thought that was kind of creepy. So I grabbed that, went down this dirty old hallway. And the walls had all yellowed, and there were stains on the walls. And there was kind of that drop ceiling, and it was all cracked and dirty. And I go down to where the restroom is, and there's a little sign there. So I turn the knob, open the door. I get it maybe, 6 inches open, and then it slams straight into my face. And I go, "Oh, sorry about that. Sorry, I didn't know there was anybody in there." So then I just waited outside for 5, 6, 7 minutes. I don't know. It seemed like forever. And I'm thinking, what's going on? So I knock at the door. Hello, is anybody in there? Hello? And so finally, I just had to go so bad. I opened the door, pushed it again, and it opened up. And I heard some weird shuffling sound in there. And in there, again, the light was so dim. Even though the light was on, it was a really like a dark, dingy light, and it was flickering. So I look, and just as I opened the door, I could have sworn I saw an arm slipping into the toilet, like elbow first. It was just going backwards, and I saw it go back. It was like a dirty, greasy, dirt-covered arm with long fingernails, and he just kind of pulled back into the toilet, and I saw the wrist and the hand kind of drooping over the front of the toilet seat, and then slowly slip down and leave like a wet trail on the lid, on the seat. And as soon as I saw that, I'm like, "Oh, hell no." I just turned around and left and went back to the front and said to the woman, there's somebody in the restroom there. I just went in there and I knocked at the door. There was somebody in there, and I went in, and it looked like they went into the toilet. Like, how can that be?
Are you crazy, you son of a bitch? Just get the hell out of here. You city folk with your drugs. What are you smoking? What are you shooting in your eyes? You get out of here.
Excuse me, I'm not on drugs. I'm not drinking. Can I get the gas?
No, get the out of here.
So I had no choice. So I had to just walk out of that gas station store. No gas. I couldn't pee. I get back into my vehicle, get back on the road, start driving. And I drove probably for another, 7, 8, 10 minutes. And luckily I didn't run out of gas, but I did see another gas station, and it was all lit up, bright lights. I went there. The pumps were working. I ran in first. They had a restroom. I used it. It was all fully lit. No arms going in the toilet there. Everything was totally normal. I got my $20 worth of gas, got back on the road, and managed to find a Super 8 or whatever it was, some motel. And everything else on that trip was pretty uneventful and boring, but just that arm going back into that toilet. Like I said, I wasn't drinking. I wasn't smoking any funny things or taking any pills, but I could have sworn that this arm went back. It was almost like an elephant's trunk going backwards. And I still picture to this day that the wrist kind of thumping on the front of that toilet seat, and then kind of the fingernails and hands scratching on the front of that seat and then plopping into the water. And I can almost, mentally or audibly remember that the splash. I could hear splash in the water. And then, like I say, I just ran out of there. I never stuck around. But a very strange thing that happened. The stuff of nightmares.
And that brings us to the end of tonight's true tale from the shack. A huge thank you to Gary D in Ontario for sending that one in. Gary, that story has been sitting in the air of the shack like a cold draft that can't quite find its way out. But we've got questions. Oh yes, we've got questions. Gary, did you ever drive that road again and find yourself passing that same stretch? And if so, did you look for that old gas station? Was it actually there? Or did you have a time slip experience? Or if it was there, did you avoid it completely? I think I would. And did you ever ask at the ordinary gas station about the creepy one 10 minutes or so back? The one that shouldn't have felt so wrong and yet clearly did? Because that's the part that lingers, isn't it? Not just what was seen, but what might have been known. And to everyone listening, what do you think happened there? A glitch in the matrix or something out of the ordinary? Maybe a place that folds a little differently in the dark, or something else entirely slipping through when no one's looking, except Gary. To our listeners, we want your theories, your explanations, your experiences, if you've had anything even remotely like it. Write to us, comment, or send any thoughts to shackpackinbox@gmail.com, because the shack has a habit of listening even when it's quiet. So until next time, if you find yourself in a gas station and witness something unbelievable climbing out of the toilet, consider for a moment that whatever it is, its business might not yet be finished. Remember to follow or subscribe, it's free, and share to anyone who loves a strange or eerie tale. Until next time, Shack Packers, we'll be here, waiting, and the light will be swinging. Good night. Thanks for hanging out in the shack with us. If you've got a strange story, theory, or even just a spooky question, send it to shackpackinbox@gmail.com, because we'd love to hear from you. Follow us to ensure that you never miss an episode of The Freaking Shack, because listening to us is much cheaper than therapy and slightly more spooky. Until we meet again next week, Shackpackers, take care.